Hello everyone and welcome to Craftworks. Today I am going to be making a one sheet wonder using one sheet of 6x6 designer series paper. I've got a gorgeous grape here. This measures 7¼ inches by 7 inches. I've got some card blanks which are gorgeous grape and some white matting layers which will just go over the top. And we will get 6 cards out of this. So the first thing I need to do is bring in my trimmer, and we're going to cut this in half. So that's 3 inches right the way across. Now we're going to cut at 2 inches. That's card number 1. 3 inches, and that leaves us with a 1 inch strip, which 1 inch by 3, which we are going to cut at 1 inch. 1, 2, 3. And I can just get it. So that's card number 3. Now this piece we're going to cut it at 2¼ and then we're going to cut this in half at 1½, and then that gives us card number 4. Apologies if you can hear my son in the next room. And then for this piece, we're going to cut it at 1 inch. We want 2 of those. And we're going to cut these at 1½ as well. And 1½. And then our last piece should measure, oh, it's a little bit long, 1¾ by 3. So 1¾ and that just takes off a tiny little slither, and that there is the last card. So now we're going to cut our plain paper, and we need this 7 inch side at the top. When I made this originally, I didn't do that, and so it all went horribly wrong. So I've got my 7 inch at the top. So I'm going to cut this at 3¼ . Pop that to one side. So this measures 3¼ . I want 2¼ . And that's going on there. This one will be 3¼ by 3¼ . And that one's going on there. Now this needs to measure 1¼ , which is there. So this piece here is scrap. And 1¼ . 1 1/4. Okay, I've done something wrong. That's what I did wrong. I cut it at 1 1/2. But it's all good because I have lots more. That is straight. Because believe it or not, I have loads of scraps. So if you follow my measurements, you won't do what I've just done. So 1 1/4 on there. And 1 1/4. Okay, so put those to one side. So now we want to cut this at this is our bottom piece at 2 1/2, and then we're going to flip it and cut at 1 3/4. And that will give us 2. Oh yeah, no, there's a bit of scrap on here. Your scrap. And then these pieces go onto here. So that's those. So we want one that is cut at 2 inches. That's for our last piece. And again, this needs to be 3 3/4. Pretty good. That's not right, is it? What have I done? Three and a quarter. Oh dear. And then this piece goes in there. Okay, so we want 1 1/4. And 1 1/4 again. And then 1 3/4. And let's just double check. And 1 3/4. And 1 3/4 again. And that is all the cutting done. So if you follow the measurements and cut it correctly first time, like I didn't, you will get it spot on. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick my layers down. I'm using Tombow because it allows me to wiggle things around a little bit. So I have already made a set today, and excuse me, I got the measurements wrong. So I thought second time, but clearly not. So I love a one sheet wonder. I usually do it at Christmas time. So, because you can get an awful lot out of your paper, and it's a really good way to make a lot of cards with not a lot of supplies. but I thought I'd give it a go with just some regular paper this time round. So this is the hydrangea heel. At the moment, Stampin Up have clearance rack going up, so you can grab yourself some real bargains. Okay, I'll just send him a text. Sorry. So, oh, I keep coming off camera. I'm so sorry. It's because I'm concentrating. And this is a really new setup for me. I've got a webcam now. And I need to remember to not get my head in the way because the camera is directly above me. You will not believe how many times I have got my head in shot. Especially when I'm stamping. So that is all of our pieces. So the first card, I'm going to take my white layer and I'm going to position it here. And where did I put my ribbon? So I've got gorgeous green ribbon. And before I do anything, I'm not positioning this yet. So what I want to do is I want to tie a bow over one side. Now, I think I'm going to try and put it over this side. And tie my bow. I'm not worried about this piece underneath, my pattern piece moving at the moment, because it's actually going to go over the top. So it's going to sit on the top like that. So I'm just going to get my scissors and snip that there, and snip that bit there. And it looks quite nice and straight. Just use my grid paper. and pop that down. But before I do that, I'm going to stamp my happy birthday in gorgeous grape. So I want it all a little bit higher. Oh, did I make a mess there? Okay, so that is quite central. And you can see my microphone. Apologies. My happy birthday. So I think I'm just going to push this up just a little bit, just making sure I don't have any ink on my fingers. And now I'm going to pop this layer down. Now you could, if you want to, you could pop this up on dimensionals, but I'm not going to. For me, this was all about quick and relatively cheap and easy crafting. This would make a lovely gift set for somebody also. And that there is card number 1. Nice and easy. Pop that to one side. Card number 2. And take my ribbon and I'm wrapping it around and I'm going to tie a bow. It is easier to work off of the reel, but I'm actually so tight I don't want to cut it and then not be able to use. I haven't given myself enough there. With ribbon I like, I try to be quite sparing with it. And I love this. And I think this ribbon is actually carrying over, which is fantastic. So what have I got hold of? Come on. And I shall cut that off. And then go like that. Do you know, I don't know how I feel about that actually. I don't like it. Sorry. Don't like that at all. Let's one more time. Third is a charm. If I don't like this, I will go back and do it another way where I just wrap the ribbon and attach a bow on the top. I don't like that. No, sorry everyone. So instead, I'm going to get double-sided tape. And pop that there. And another piece over here. And peel off the backing. And then just wrap that like so. Cut that excess off. And this is actually going to save you a load of ribbon as well. So that's a win-win. Oh, sorry. I took it off camera again. That's much better. Cut my tails. And pop that on with a glue dot. And that's that one. Bring in my right piece. And I'm going to go with the happy birthday again. And I'm just going to pop that in. And stick this piece down. And then my card blank. You can add gems, you can dress this up, and this actually works really well with all your scraps of paper. So you might see a design that you like the look of. So if you don't have a full sheet of 6x6, it's a really nice card layout as well. And that is card number 2. So for our next piece, I'm going to put double-sided tape along the back. I'm just trying to think, it's this side. So double-sided tape top and bottom. And then just peel the backings off. And this time our ribbon is going across this piece here. So I'm just folding that over. You can measure. Take that bit of excess off there. Okay, and so this is going to be our 3 squares. We're going to pop these ones up on dimensionals, but before I do anything, kind of want to just roughly space them with an equal gap. I'm going to stamp my sentiment right about here. Perfect. So I'm going to be using edge pieces. I'm starting with the middle. It's that one. And there. Oh no! I just pretend I did not have inky fingers when I made this. So I can see putting a few gems on here to hide that. And pop this on so you can't blank. And that is card number 3. And this one is upside down. That's better. Okay, I've got 2 ink splodges there, so I'll put some gems there and there, and one at the corner. I'll get those later. So that's that one. Now, what do we have left? So we have this one here, and this one here, the top part of it. So what I'm doing with this one is I'm just making sure that I've got even space around the sides, the bottom and the top. For this I am going to use my thank you stamp. And pop that in the centre. Maximus. Believe it or not, he does that because the beagle over the road has gone out, and they quite often like to say hello to each other. It's very peculiar. They look at each other through the window. They don't bark at each other or anything, they just look at each other. And there we have that. No ribbon for this one. You could add a ribbon, a bow if you'd like, or some gems. But this one is just flowers and sentiment. And I'll pop this down like that. That's that one. That's card number 4 done. Okay, I'm missing one. Where did I put it? Okay, I need to come back and find that in a second. Okay, so this one here, we are going to tie ribbon around the centre of this. It's unbelievable. I can't believe that I lost that thing. Well, my last piece for the card is my favourite card too. Just double checking Max hasn't eaten anything. He does enjoy card that he finds. I can't believe this. I don't know where it is. Oh no, that's terrible. It's because I'm distracted. Let's just quick look. It definitely have 3 pieces. Oh, I found it, found it. It's on the floor, just bear with me. Got it. Come back. I found it. Oh, right, now we can carry on like we were supposed to be doing. And this time I'll pay attention to the bow and not looking for the pieces that are missing on my desk. I had it a little while ago. I couldn't find something, and in the end I just gave up. I cut a new one. I found it 2 days later in the most bizarre place ever. It was actually in my kitchen. Bearing in mind I craft upstairs in a completely different room. No, I don't like that. I'm thinking, I don't know if it would actually notice or not if I put a piece round. have a little look. I'll put a little bit. I'm just seeing what you're seeing, and I'm sure I'm not the only untidy crafter here. So apologies if you are totally appalled by the state of my desk. I always try to keep it tidy, especially when I'm filming. But for a project like this, I just don't know that it's possible. And then that's going to go there. I'm going to pop the bow on with a thing, glue dot, and my sentiment. Now, because it's so untidy, I can't find anything. And then this is going on. Card number 5. And then our last one. Okay, so you want to push these in so they're nicely spaced. So, sorry, getting my head in there now. So like that. Okay, I'm going to go thank you on this one. Because I think this is going to make a really nice gift set for someone. And I'm going to leave those there. I'm going to peel one back at a time and then glue it down. Just like that. Pop that one there. I'm using this one to line this one up. There. And pop this one here. And then I'm going to tie a bow and pop that in the centre. Now glue dots. And pop that there. Oh, I cut my glue away. So in a minute I'll bring in all of the cards. So that you can see them all. Bit of glue rubber on that, just rubber. And that there is our final card. So I'm just going to move bits out of the way, and then I'll bring in all of the cards so that you can see them. Move all of that. So card number 1 was this one. Card number 2. And card number 3. I'll just give you a few minutes. It looks blue on my screen, but I promise you this is gorgeous grape. The ribbon is gorgeous grape, the cardstock. That's those 3. And then we have this one, and this one. 6 cards, 1 sheet of 6x6 designer series paper, 1 sheet of 7¼ inch by 7 inch coloured paper that matches your card blanks. So before you go, I will show you another variation that I made. I used exactly the same patterns, but I used the Fine Art Floral Suite. So Bermuda Bay, the gold ribbon, and the Fine Art Floral. There we are. Thank you for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a share so that other people who enjoy crafting can find it too. And thanks again. Bye.